Academy live with Ambrose. Yes, the global market as we speak now is mixed. I can see that Asia market is oscillating, and that of US also look up at this hour. Europe market is a bit flat, but we are seeing that all eyes are still on macroeconomic data coming from the labor report. At the same time, outcome of the policy meeting, all are what is driving the market in US as we speak now. But let's start from what is happening in Europe market before we come back to see what is happening in Africa market, where NGX and other African markets will be looking at. But to start with US market at this hour, I can tell you that US market is also looking up. For me, it's a good one because all numbers are coming from expected figures to give insight what we're doing in this market is already out now, and investors are digesting these numbers. That is why US market is a bit mixed, but most of the index in that market are looking green, and this is the beauty of any market you are playing. And that is why, as a trader investor, understand the market you are playing. Whether you are playing in Africa, you are playing in Asia, you are playing in Europe, you must understand the territory where we are playing so that it will help you to make what informed investment decision. As more earnings are coming in that market, also we are seeing more earnings in Nigeria here, NGS. But pay attention to these numbers that are coming because these numbers and the report we're expecting also give you more insight what to do per time as a trader or investor. That means you must pay attention to these indices that are looking green now as we speak. Being the mid trading, I can tell you already that market is looking up because blue chip companies on Dan Jones are in green. For me, it's a good one. And most of the numbers I hit the numbers, I hit the NGA, hit the Dan Jones are in green. Don't need to worry at all at this point. And also, if you look at their financials, also going from different sectors in that market, they are also looking a bit also missed. But I tell you that this job report and others is a good thing that if whether there will be rate hike after the next policy meeting that is coming. Or don't forget that the last one that just they heard was a flat decision. But let's see what the trade tension and the political tension as regard what is happening in Iraq and also what is happening in Ukraine and Russia. And at the same time, Trump threatening Russia, threatening China, threatening even India and Canada because of what the trade deals they are signing with China. What does it portend for what for the global economy? We must also put that one in perspective as a trader or investor. Yes, let's move to what is happening in Europe now. Now that we're seeing if it's happening in US, let's pay attention to Europe. In Europe, don't forget that the model of this was signed last week between the European Union and India, and that deal alone has been like a threat to other global partners. But for me, investors are kind of analyzing, digesting what that will portend for India and Europe zone. But to speak now, Europe's market is searching for a direction because ahead of all these numbers for today, must understand what is happening in that Europe. But I believe that when Europe gets it right, I'll tell you it will be a market for what for China. And for me, it's a good one for Europe. But the good thing in Europe is that all the earnings news or any wave we're seeing in that market is very, very impressive. And that means you must pay attention to those numbers if you are in that zone and you are trading that zone. But consider that number that came from Total Energy in Europe. For me, it's a good number. And also, Total Energy in Europe are buying back their shares. And that's it's a plus for that company. That means if you are investing in Europe and you will have share of Total Energy, that means anywhere from now, you see price rebound in that market. Despite in Nigeria here, we are seeing that bad performance from Total Energy Nigeria keep the stock flat for around 640 for more than 3 months. For me, if they can come out from their bad performance, that also change their price here in NGX. But for me, since the headquarter or what we call it, the major international market company is doing well in Europe, it also trickle down one way or the other to Africa market. I believe that you should pay attention to that Total if they can come out from their wood. But I believe investors also should also trade caution because potential of dividend is slim in Total as we speak. That means you must pay attention to others in that industry as a trader or investor where you can get dividend that will pass your price is very, very key. Yes, back to Africa. Looking at Africa market, NGX is a major market in Africa where you see that this market make a lot of impact. Despite to see South Africa leading, in what is happening in Africa. Pay attention to what is happening in Egypt, in Nigeria, in Ghana, and that of Kenya. For the Nigeria market, I'll tell you, the market has gone up more than 51% last year. This year to date, we are seeing almost 13% just from January to February. The pointer what we expected to see in Nigeria this market. Don't forget that this is also post-election, pre-election year in Nigeria. That means what kind of factor in risk and also potential in the market so that you can balance your work position. Don't just follow bandwagon because market is going up and for you to jump into stock at the peak. Wait for pullback to some stock to make position. Don't just buy because others are buying. And that's why today we're looking at what is the market seeing in terms of fundamentalist and what and capitalist. You need to understand all this as a trader or investor. And we must pay attention to what to see the position of our market because our market is already at the peak. I tell you that peak shows that market is already looking for what a trigger to pull back or what to continue in the green. For me, I would say that investors should pay attention to what stocks that are here to move. All those that are rally now, if you're entering time is be a novice investor, you must be buying at the wrong price. For those that have capacity to pay dividend, you can still hold. But most of the stock are hitting new all-time high. That means potential to go up is slim and don't be carried away because market is going up. I know that the newcomers are the one pushing the market. Even the announcement of Pencom try to bring more money to the market. We agree, but Pencom is ready to wait for 5 years in the stock. Are you ready to wait for 5 years in the stock as individual? You must also have this at the back of your mind that even though the obviously liquidity in the market, pay attention to those that has what potential to go up. I tell you, most of the stocks are up. Yes, let's back to what to see what is we are seeing on NGS. For me, I can tell you that the market is already in green right now as we speak because the market is already returning about 900 basic point this morning at this hour, which is for me is a good news. That means market is in the green. But I will tell you for since over the market breakout from a consolidation stage, we are seeing a markup phase, and that markup phase that stock is on the green. But don't forget that as a trader or investor, know the stage of the market. And I said NGS at a critical point. What is fundamentalist talking? What is technician talking? Put way forward for market players in the market. Let's not forget that we are here to make money, not just to answer them as a trader or investor. That means you must look at some factors that will guide you to make what informed investment decision. Market is heading to almost 180,000 index. And don't forget that at the beginning of the year, we focus that index will cross 200,000. Already we're almost close to it. And that is that at the same time too, don't just be running all around the market. Pay attention to some sectors that are moved, some that are here to move, so that you can know how to do what we call sector rotation at this point. Now, as we speak now, market is trading at what 177,700 and what 33.64. This is a good number, gaining almost 0.55%, which is representing 969.86 what basic point. I mean, market is in a good agree. Stocks are making new high. At this point, what is your position as a trader or investor? And what I said that we're going to look at the market at what at a critical point. What are we going to do now? I'll tell you how perspective of a fundamentalist and also a technician. Those technicians tell you that yes, you must wait for what for a pullback to buy. Why the fundamentalist tell you that economic reform are driving the market expansion. But how long will this economic reform sustain this trend is very key for us as a trader or investor in this market. That means we must not invest out of what? Out of ignorance, we must invest with knowledge. Even though when the fundamentalists are bullish about the market, say buy, technicians are very cautious and selective that picking stock at this point because market at the level of almost 480,000 are trading above 1,000 for me, it's a critical point. And also a pullback to around 165,000 and also 170. That range will be a good buy for the market. For those that are in good position, you can join the rally and join the ride. But for those that want to buy now, be very cautious because don't buy a market pullback and you'll be complaining that I've entered, it's falling down. No, that is why I tell you that you must know the right market to buy at the right time, and that is way to work to invest with intelligence, also with knowledge. You must have understanding of the market you are playing. Yes, fundamentally are saying that the bookings for the market are high. Valuation reforms are the one pushing the market. But technicians tell you that yes, market are at a critical point. You need to treat with caution because a new all-time high is where we are today. And that is that yes, we agree that reflection of what happened in the economy. Our economy is still recovering. We are not here yet to arrive. For that, anything can change. Especially the FS that stability, we are seeing the FS stability can change tomorrow depending on government policy. That means we must factor all this. Also, the earnings that we're expecting has gone ahead of price have gone ahead of earnings already. That means you also have to factor all this in your position at this point. But for me, there's no cause for alarm. Don't also look at the money flow. Money flow as we speak now. I want to call the money flow chart up here for us to see ourselves. no, let me call the chart off. So see that money flow is not really 100, around 70, 71. Money flow is flattening. Tell you that there are some cautions in the market. Let's pay attention to that. But when you see fund going up in the market, there are more fund, fresh funds are entering the market. But when you see it start trending, it tells you that market is waiting for what? For another information for fund to start also moving. Yes, we have seen that no, Pentcon have increased their their investment in equity space from around 25% to 35%, which is good news. But we want to see how many of this money is entering the market. Yes, today we might see that yes, there's a bit different from what we are seeing the previous day, and that was that the market is moving up. Because if you look at this money flow chart, in our chart that you can see on display, you can see that at this point that money flow is looking up. It has been on a flat move for straight Friday, Monday and Tuesday. At midweek today now, it's already moving on the other side. For me, it's a good one. So that we're seeing more liquidity in the market now. Look at it here. Money flow is reading 78.8. As at 2 days, we're reading was 71 flat. Now you can see it and eating up again. And MACD is purely bullish. You can see that we're seeing a histogram that is trending up in MACD. Says that yes, funds in the market. And for me, it's also a good news that liquidity leads activities. For me, fine, let's pay attention to all this. But at the end of the day, don't forget that it is your money. And also don't overinvest, overtrade at this point because market is already at a peak. Which way for Nigeria market players? Which way? Which way? The way is like that investors should stay with their investment because their long-term perspective, they know, especially as our inflation is declining, or what we call disinflation, we are seeing FX stability. Also, all this support what higher valuation for fundamentalists. Why for traders? I would advise that a trader should wait for what to buy into a dip, especially in from some specific sectors. If I see any dip in the banking sector, any dip in consumer sector, any dip in agro business, also service sector, it's a place to buy, especially those companies that will know that this year 2026, they have the earning powers to grow that will support their price at the end of the day. We must pay attention to this. It's very, very important for every investor in the market. Let us not just invest and go and sleep. We must invest with knowledge so that at the end of the day, you and I will be smiling to the bank. That's why we must pay attention to all this. It's very, very important. Yes, looking at the breakouts we have seen so far, market has entered a strong band, I would say, or a strong rally. Why did I say so? Markets are breaking out already. The 171,000 already heading to 80,000. Where is it going from now? Also, we're expecting to see the listing of Dangote Refinery, to see the listing of fertilizer and other company coming. What's going to boost the market capital? Don't forget that when they are coming, investors were exiting their position in some stocks to buy this public offer. That means you need to also know what you are doing in the market so that don't be carried away with up market anytime you are seeing up market. Always trade your plan, manage your risk. For most people in the market, they know when to buy, don't know when to sell. Now that we are seeing profit in most of them, these are paper profit. They are just showing green in your account. You are laughing. I've made 100%, I've made 50%. But if you fail to take that profit, the same market that did that will also take it back from you. That means you must pay attention to your trading plan. Every investor should have a plan, have a goal, so that it will guide you when to take profit and also when to stay. This is a very good thing that you should know at this point because markets are already at the critical point. Pullback is necessary, it can come anytime, and that's also what why I think that we must pay attention to it. Also, technically, because market is trading above 70,000 mark, you can say yeah, it's a bullish momentum. How long will this bullish momentum sustain the market? This is why I say you must understand what is happening in the market. I'll give you a scenario now for both fundamentalist view and also technical view. That yes, we are seeing market moving, but at what? At a cost. Why is it a cost? Because this time everybody is cautious. Anything can happen. If you're in profit, know that yes, you are cautious, take your profit. Why do that long-term investor? They can beat their chest and still be buying because if market comes down tomorrow or next week or even this year, they are not because they have long-term investment goal. For you that a trader, when you see a profit of between 30 to 50% in this off market, take it. Don't be greedy that you want to make 100% before you take reward for profit. That's why your investment goal is very, very key at this point. As you are buying, know your exit price. Most people only know when to buy, don't know when to exit. That's why you must know what is driving your stock that you enter, so that you not be carried away that the time you want to sell, everybody want to sell, nobody will picking your own. That is why I see most people that I want to sell stock, no buyer, no seller, because you are selling at the wrong time. When there's kind of a activity in that stock, that is where you should be selling, and that you should also be buying if you want to buy. I believe that this also I've guided you this morning. But before we call the class a day, let's look at our chart. Look at where it index now, critically as we speak now, so that we will know exactly what to do. Yes, look at the index now. Look at this a live class we're looking at. I can see the index already reading now 107,972.40. I mean, the market is already heading towards 180,000. You can see it here with your eyes here. And money flow, chart, you can see it here. One is also looking up here. MACD is purely positive, and this is for the index. But let's go towards a daily, a 1 hour chart. I'm telling you, 1 hour chart. What's it showing us? 1 hour chart, as we speak now, is also trending up. Now you can see it here above the T line. Say that the market is strong. But 1 hour on terms of money flow is flat, looking down marginally. While MACD on 1 hour chart is also telling that there's slow down here, because the histogram here is also looking down in 1 hour chart. Let's not forget that this market, you can use different time frame to know what is happening, but your ability to interpret this time frame help you to make what informed investment decision. Yes, let's call some stocks up here to look at what is happening in those stocks. Yes, let's look at NACO, for example. We have seen a great momentum in that stock. Will it be sustained? Let's look at the chart. The chart will tell us exactly what is happening in that stock right now. You can see that this morning, see that NACO has pulled back to as low as what, almost 140 before coming back again to 150. Now it has touched a size of almost 164.90, pulling back. I see that profit taking is part of what is happening now, which is also the nature of the market anytime, any day. On a 1 hour chart, I can see that money flow is also leaving the stock because of all people are taking profit. I can see that MACD is also looking down. This for 1 hour chart. Let me look at a day chart for the same NACO to see what is happening in that stock right now. Look at the day chart for the stock to also give you an insight what is happening for you to also get a clear direction. Waiting for the 1 hour chart, a day chart to come up. Before that, we can do 2 hour start to see what is happening 2 hour start. You can see also the 2 hour start, what is happening there. Tested the signal line up again, and for me, it's a good one since you try to resist decline. You can see this what we call a hammer candlestick already showing sign, but I'll tell you, profit taking is already in that stock, which is also good for those that are not in that stock now. That means any pullback, you can take a position. Let's look at what is happening in Wima Bank. That's what's happening in Wima Bank here. Let's work what is happening in Wima Bank now to see the way Wima Bank is also going. Wima Bank is also having the same pattern. You can see on a 2 hour chart, try to also go up, fighting between buyers and sellers, pushing to 2605, 2630, and then in between. But the money flow for Wima Bank is reading 62 basic points, and MACD is also trying to work to go bullish and bearish. Let's pay attention to all this stuff. Let's go back to a day chart for Wima Bank. Yeah. The chart is not changing for a day chart, but look at 1 hour chart again for Wima Bank. The same pattern as we speak. For me, this is not a time for any investor to panic, but rather for those that are traders, you can take profit in the market. It's part of what market and dynamics. No, but if you are thinking medium and long, it's also trying to buy into value. Don't follow bad wagon and buy into stock without value. Pay attention to fundamental is very, very key in any market. But for we that are technicians, we must take advantage of any pullback at this point and position in it. Yes, I will say thank you for your time, and I hope to see you on Friday. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your trading day. Bye.